Strowman, he's like the veteran big guy in the locker room now. They need him because
Mm.
I could see Strowman at some point becoming a producer or the guy that trains the next big shows or this and that. But Braun Strowman is also an incredibly reliable, safe talent if you're trying to tell those bigger versus smaller stories. I wouldn't get rid of Braun. Braun Strowman should stay. Braun Strowman has WWE lifer written all over him, in my opinion.
All right, the fucking TikTok thing isn't working again, so we're gonna go live everywhere else except TikTok. It looks like, but all right,
Yeah.
everyone.
Twitch gotten back to you? No.
Huh?
Has Twitch
Has
gotten
Twitch
back?
gotten back?
No, nothing yet.
Fuck
All
Twitch.
right, yeah. So everyone, shut the fuck up. Go on mute so we can get started.
No worries.
What's this about Snug having a Twitch?
We'll talk about it later. All right. What is going on, everyone? Welcome back again to Snug Wrestling Podcast. My name is Edgar. I'm your host. And we are back. The crew is back. Mr. Blood, Toxic Tommy, and BT Knight. We're going to talk about the Friday Night Smackdown that took place a while ago because they're in Barcelona. So this took place a while ago, and I was trying to stay off my phone so I don't get spoiled. We watched it in regular time, in regular American time, and we're going to go over it now. I know we're a little bit late, but bear with us. We got some title changes that went down tonight. This is the third title change in 2 weeks? We had Rhea Ripley lose her title, and then we had LA Knight became United States Championship last week. And then this week we got another title change with the Street Profits. They defeated the DIY and they became tag team champions. Not only that, we had two mysterious video packages, which looked like to me it was Ray Phoenix, and there was another very mysterious video package that just had like some smoke around it, and it said number 4. What the hell could that be? So I want to talk about that first, and then we'll talk about, if we have enough time, we'll talk about some of these other matches and segments that we saw tonight on Friday Night Smackdown in Barcelona, Spain. So let's get into it, fellas. How y'all doing tonight?
Awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome.
Mr. Blood, um, let's start off with the Ray Phoenix video package because this ties into what we have been seeing with Chad Gable and the mysterious luchador guy that showed up on Monday Night Raw. So, did you, first question really quick, did you get to see that video package I'm referring to that looked like Ray Phoenix?
I didn't, but I can speculate on it either way.
Okay,
So
so
so as far as go ahead.
yeah, so it was very, very clear that it was Ray Phoenix. But my question to you, Mr. Blood, and then we'll get everyone else's opinion, is they're showing a video package, which I'm pretty sure it's Ray Phoenix on Friday Night SmackDown. If this is how they're bringing in Ray Phoenix, if he's involved with Chad Gable, the mysterious masked luchador guy that we saw on Monday Night Raw, would they be playing a video package for Ray Phoenix like they did tonight? That's my question to
So
you.
I think if you're trying, it could, I mean, well, here's the thing: did the video package say coming to SmackDown?
Didn't say anything, just had some
Okay, so
guy.
so so it could be that the video package got ready in the middle of the week, and they said let's start promoting him Friday. Now, also think about it: if it's a Hispanic luchador, whatever, they're in Spain, a Spanish-speaking country. So it could be they also did it because they're there and they thought that it might hype the crowd. But as far as concerned with Ray Phoenix, people forget that Ray Phoenix was already supposed to debut in WWE alongside his brother Penta last year because they were originally got released from their contracts. They were supposed to debut together as a surprise tag team. And when the AEW held up Ray Phoenix's contract because they wanted to add time onto his injuries, to which there's the controversy going on where he was very upset about that, said AEW is inhumane, yada, yada, yada. They wouldn't let him have his contract. They went and opted in for putting the Motor City Machine Guns in to debut in their place because that spot was originally supposed to go to those two. So now we have the Chad Gable stuff, where Chad Gable goes on his little, excursion to, search for, the secrets of luchador and lucha libre and all this other good stuff. And then we have the mass assailant this past week, and everybody's like, well, it's got to be Chad Gable. He's got an American-made mask on. He's dressed like Chad. He's about Chad's size, roughly. And then we go backstage and we see, Freaky Friday over here, where Chad's talking to Kathy Kelly, but who's that in the background dressed exactly like Chad wearing the mask that got hauled out? My question is, and I did say on Monday, I said, well, I thought it was Ray Phoenix at first. So my question is, what if they're bringing Ray Phoenix in to be a heel, working with Chad Gable, and they can pit Ray Phoenix against Penta off the bat? So that would be basically, because honestly, how many babyface luchadors do we have on the main roster? A lot. Why not add a fresher, bigger name like Ray Phoenix in there, who has a direct relation to one of their largest, favorite stars right now that's recently come in Penta? And because let's be honest, no one cares about Santos Escobar. No one's popping for Dragon Lee anymore. No one cares about Joaquin Wild and all these other guys on either side of LWO, and like people barely remember Andrade until he's on the screen. So the biggest, in my opinion, biggest luchador, lucha libre-esque masked wrestlers in professional wrestling in WWE is number one, Rey Mysterio always, and Penta. So if you want a bigger story to tell, people know who Ray Phoenix is because they know who Penta is. And in my opinion, this is going to be controversial for a lot of people because I'm not an AEW fan whatsoever, but you could argue that Ray Phoenix is a bigger star than Santos Escobar, than Andrade, than Dragon Lee, than all these other guys, because he was pushed regularly over on AEW's roster until his injury. And he also has this controversy in the wrestling news that many wrestling fans are aware of. And now he's coming into WWE where people go, oh my God, is that Ray Phoenix? That's Penta's brother. They sell out of a microphone, they're going to eat him up. But if he's a heel, the story you could tell off the bat, keeping Penta's momentum very big going into Mania season and after, it makes sense. I think it is Penta. I don't think the fact that they played the video package on SmackDown matters. I think they just figured, let's start pushing it tonight.
You mean Phoenix?
And we'll show it again on Monday.
It is Phoenix.
Yeah, sorry, Phoenix. Sorry, Phoenix. Yeah, like it doesn't matter if it's on SmackDown. They're just like, look, coming soon. Doesn't matter where, but coming soon. And I think maybe potentially, because some people did speculate it was Ray Phoenix on Monday, and in the news after, they could be pushing that video package on SmackDown just to swerve people who already assume it's Penta.
Yeah, after I saw
it's Ray Phoenix.
After I saw the video multiple times. I started to doubt myself, and I'm like, I don't even know if that really was Chad Gable under the mask. But anyway, let's move on.
And maybe that's the point. Yeah.
Tommy, let's hear from you because I don't know where Toxic went. But same question to you, Tommy, really quick. The video package that we saw tonight, I'm pretty sure it was Ray Phoenix, but also everyone believes that this is the thing that happened with Chad Gable on Monday Night Raw. This is how they're going to bring in Ray Phoenix. After seeing this video package on Friday Night SmackDown, do you think that it was still potentially Ray Phoenix on Monday Night Raw, or what do you what were your thoughts on this whole video package that we saw tonight on Friday Night SmackDown?
Here's the problem. How many wrestlers do we actually know that are the exact same, like, physique and everything to Chad Gable? How many of them do we actually know? Because we know Penta for sure. Obviously, there's not Penta. Blech, my brain. Blood, now you've got me doing it, damn it. Like, obviously, we have Ray Phoenix, who immediately after his contract ended, immediately had conversations with WWE to bring him in. There's obviously Chad Gable himself, but there's not really that many other people that we could think of that are the exact same physique, the exact same build, the exact same height, exact same everything.
Okay.
So I do think that Ray Phoenix is still behind it, at least in the background.
Uh,
It's kind of obvious that when it was like in the ring itself, it was Chad. Like it's very clear it was. But backstage, it could have been anybody. My guess is Ray Phoenix at that point.
All right, BT, what do you think about all of this?
I don't have any thoughts because I didn't even watch the fucking package, and I hardly even know who Ray Phoenix is. All I know about him is his drama with AEW and Tony Khan being a fucking dick as always. So, those are my thoughts.
Okay. I don't know where the hell Toxic went. Toxic, are you there? Can you hear us?
He's literally right here. Can you not see him? We all can.
I do. I can't. I can't see him.
Can you hear him? Because he's right here. We're
Nope.
looking at him.
Nope.
Toxic, speak.
I can't hear him. Toxic, go back out and
He
come
said-
back in, please.
He said yeet.
He said Eagles.
4 letters, 1 word. Yeet.
4 letters, 1 word. Shut the fuck up. No, I'm kidding.
Wait, what?
Toxic! God damn it, Toxic. You're going to get me fucking mad if I can't see you. Let me see. Let me check.
He's right there.
Let me check.
Oh, wait.
Oh, there we go. There we go. My bad.
Yeah, he had
Wait.
his visual.
Nope, I still can't see him.
But he,
Oh, wait. Hold on. Time out. Hello? There we go.
Yeet.
Welcome back, Toxic. Yes, round of applause.
Yeah, welcome back, even though I've been here for like a long time.
All right.
not messing with the settings again.
Where were we? Ray Phoenix video package. It was shown on Friday Night Smackdown. Do you still think that he's involved in the whole Chad Gable thing after we saw the video package on SmackDown?
Okay, this is what I think. It was obviously Chad Gable out in the arena.
Mm-hmm.
Chad Gable could have said, "Hey, you're new here. Here's a new mask. Here's some shoes. Take this, and I'm out of here." So, what I think, it's just some Scooby-Doo shit.
All right.
My exact thoughts on this exact thing. But I do think that was a teaser for Ray Phoenix coming.
Very well. All right. We saw another video package on Friday Night SmackDown. I saw a glimpse of it. I wasn't really paying too much attention to it. I just saw like some smoky stuff going around, and then it said a number 4. Did you guys see that? Did I imagine that?
No, you didn't imagine it. In fact, that's all it was.
What the hell was that? Any ideas?
I have no clue what in the world that could be.
I think we'd have to sit there and think about anybody who's ever used 4 maybe in any of their stuff moniker. I mean, the only person who actually comes to mind that no one in this chat is going to remember, probably besides me and Snug, is Elijah Burke, who who used to do the 4 all the time. But it wouldn't be the guy who does the perfect 10. It wouldn't be him. So I'm imagining it's got to be somebody who's no longer with AEW, and here's why. Why would you give a video
Malachi
package to the
Black.
main Raw? It could be, because why would you give? Let me ask you this: why on earth would you have someone debut on the main roster and circumvent NXT's program, which is what they're all doing, especially when you're about to have a bunch of people get called up and you'll have spots open on NXT? Why would you debut the video package for this mystery person on main roster TV? So my question is, think of all the people who just got recently released. Malachi Black, Miro, he's gone. And you got to assume WWE's chomping at the bit to get Miro back, chomping at the bit to get Aleister Black back.
Miro?
Well, Miro for sure. Do you have any idea how popular Rusev was when he got released?
Oh, no, I was a huge fan of Rusev, but after his AEW run...
But that's not his fault. That's their booking. They brought him in, used him for the first year and a half with the best friends, and then he was off TV for well over a year unused, begging. And he was, by the way, tweeting that he wanted to use, tweeting his displeasure. He wanted to go back there. He asked them to let him go back to WWE over a year ago, and they wouldn't get him out of his contract when they did a freeze on the contract releases in AEW. He wanted to come back. And Triple H is known to be kind of a body guy like Vince without it being an obsession. And he knows how popular Rusev Day was. He knows how sellable that was, how marketable that is, especially for merchandise. Vince thought it was a fluke and thought everybody was just making fun of Rusev and thought just the fans were in on the joke with Rusev, so he never took it seriously and never pushed him. That's the sad thing.
I just feel like right now in the WWE,
it could be,
big,
but it could be Miro.
Big scary heels like Miro, for example.
No, bring him in as the face.
For example, do you guys remember Veer? Big
yes,
scary
Veer Mahan. Yes. But here's the thing.
They don't want nothing to do with those type of guys anymore, I feel like.
But no one said. But here's the thing. With Miro, you could bring him back as babyface. You said it was four letters, right?
No, it was just the number 4.
The number 4. Okay, well,
literally,
it could be a number of things.
Yeah.
But if it what was it cryptic looking?
It was just a fucking number 4 on the screen with smoke around it.
That could be Malachi Black for sure, because Malachi used to come up to the floor through smoke.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. Well, let's go ahead, Tommy.
Malachi Black back anyways. People have been saying that he would deal with Gable, teach him the ways of the luchador, deal with them, or something to do with the White Six.
Could be White Six adjacent, but I mean, I don't know. I mean, when I think about it, there is no 90-day non-compete clause for AEW contracts, right? That's a WWE thing. And you got to think, Aleister Black's wife is Zelina Vega, who also just got moved to SmackDown.
Mm-hmm.
So there could be a potential reason that maybe one reason they moved her to SmackDown is because then negotiates with Aleister. He goes, well, look, I want to be able to travel with my wife. I want to be on the same brand. If you want me to come back, part of my contract, my negotiation is I'm on the same roster as my wife.
And if I was Triple H, I would have been like, all right, well, it's good speaking to you. Goodbye.
Yeah, but Triple H is very close to Aleister.
Oh, he loves Aleister Black, huh? Yeah,
that's loves him. He loves him.
I forgot about
that. He was one of his NXT darlings. So it could be. I think it could be just a cryptic thing for Aleister's return, but it would also make sense if it was Aleister, because why would you separate Zelina Vega from the LWO and put her on that same brand that you're now doing these cryptic vignettes with?
Well, let's talk about that next, because that was another thing that I want to talk about. Alba Fire, her tag team partner was released a few weeks ago, and then last week Alba Fire showed up. She helped Chelsea Green retain the U.S. title versus Mia Yim in that Philadelphia street fight. And this week she was dressed up like security, like Piper Niven, and now she has officially joined Chelsea Green. Alba Fire did. They had an interview. Chelsea Green had an interview, and she was interrupted by Zelina Vega, which tells everyone Zelina Vega is next up for Chelsea Green. So I know a lot of people are going to be really happy about that, but BT, let's start with you, BT. Thoughts on Alba Fire being a part of Chelsea Green's new little faction, and thoughts on Zelina Vega potentially being the next contender for the women's United States title?
I've lost interest in this story. I really don't give a fuck where it goes. I just want Michin to fucking get the job done, but since they've moved on, I really don't give a fuck anymore. I don't. Alba Fire just coming in was just a move because a partner got released and no meaning towards it, so why should I care? So those are my thoughts.
All right. Well, I like the energy, BT. No, but you're right. Like that's why I brought up this question, because it kind of just seems like Alba Fire is kind of just like an extra now, kind of. I don't know. Tommy, let's go with you. What did you think?
One, the release was like a few months ago, not a few weeks, but
whatever.
But at this point, it kind of just seems like Triple H is just trying to figure out what the fuck to do with her. Because she was fantastic at being a tag team. She really was. But since Isla Dawn got taken out and released, there was almost nothing else to do with her. So at that point, he's like, well, might as well just shove her into this. I guess Piper needs some backup for some bizarre reason.
Yeah, for sure. Toxic, what about you?
I feel like the whole Alba Fire joining Chelsea and Piper was just something that was thrown together last minute. And also, I feel like that it was planned. Like, I don't remember when it was, but Chelsea was getting mad at Piper because she wanted more security.
Mm.
So that's when Piper was probably going to look, and she asked Alba, and Alba said yes. Oh, and also,
Mm.
Zelina, you better get the fucking job done.
All right, Mr. Blood.
Um, yeah, I mean, as far as concerned, I think it goes a little deeper than just Alba Fire not being utilized. I think Triple H thinks a little more three-dimensional than that. I think that as far as concerned, he's putting Alba Fire with them because one, Chelsea Green is a very overact right now, and it was hard for Piper to get over on her own, the phenomenal talent that she already was and is, but never really got the respect put on her leading up to her eventual joining with Chelsea. And that's what happens when you let Vince McMahon saddle you with a gimmick like Dewdrop and essentially pull all the wind out of the sails of one of the greatest female wrestlers on the independent circuit, as well known as Piper Niven was known on the independent circuit. And you put her with Chelsea Green. Now they're both in overact together. And Alba wasn't really getting over in the tag division at all. So why not? If you released her partner, put her with an act that's already over, it's only going to help her. It's going to give her more TV time. You're with an act that is a champion, so that automatically gets eyes on you. The ratings probably go up even a little bit when you're on screen. What upsets me is that no offense to Alba Fire, what an amazing talent she is, what an amazing wrestler she is. But out of the two of her and Isla Dawn, Isla was the much more interesting performer. She had that wow factor. She was, and no disrespect when I say this, but it is what it is. She was the eye candy of the group. She made it very well known that she would try to use that sensuality of herself and sell that in her character, the way that she purposefully moved, flaunted on camera, would rub herself. It was all a part of her presentation. And she had a lot of fanfare online. So if you were going to release one of the two of them, it should have been Alba who didn't have that fanfare. Sure, the real diehard wrestling fan loves Alba Fire. If you love tag team wrestling and you love their presentation, they were fantastic. But in my opinion, releasing Isla Dawn is the same thing as releasing, in my opinion, Sonya Deville. You release the two most interesting characters in their respective groups, and then you leave the remaining group members to flounder without you. Because the biggest name out of those three girls in PCB or PF Pure Fusion Collective PFC, Sonya's the biggest star.
PF
So now
Chang's.
you've so now you've screwed Sonya Deville by releasing her and not re-signing her contract. But now you've left Zoe Stark and Shayna Baszler there with no direction, no group that just formed. You've now done the same thing with Alba Fire. You got rid of the more interesting character, her team, the thing that made her a star, and you now leave her floundering, and now you have to throw her in with another group. So here's my thing: stop breaking up your fucking tag teams to make stables. Because the only annoying thing here is they're doing exactly what AEW does. Everybody's in a fucking group. Why? Why is everyone in a fucking group? Either stop hiring so many people to where you overbloat your roster to where you have to make all these fucking groups so everybody gets enough time together on screen, or gee, I don't know, fucking push them as the tag teams they already are, or push them as the single stars they already are, and stop hiring people Because if you overbloat your roster, you're gonna unfortunately have fucking 40 people that sit in catering every fucking week with nothing to do, like Natalia, who sits in catering 95% of the year until you decide we need a big name, relatively big, to help put over someone else that we actually care about. Hey, Natalia, we need you to go out and wrestle for the first time in 9 months. Can you put over someone like Roxanne Perez? Sure. Good. You got 7 minutes. We'll see you in 7 months. It's the same thing.
Am I the
That's
only
my
one
problem.
here that is actually a fan of seeing Alba Fire being security for Chelsea Green? Because I think
Here's the
this
thing.
is fucking great.
I am for it. I'm up for it. I'm up for it if it gets her the spotlight and the attention that the rub from Chelsea Green's, uh, her presentation will give her, like it gave Piper. The fans have fallen more. The casual quote unquote fan has fallen in love with Piper more because she's with Chelsea. But the regular diehard wrestling fan already loved Piper. That's the thing. The diehard wrestling fan already loved
Did
the
they?
diehard on the indies. On the indies, Piper was a 15,
Oh
almost
yeah,
20
yeah,
year vet in
yeah,
the
yeah,
game.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
But as far as it's concerned, when you look at Alba, she's an indie darling too. That people really diehard wrestling fans, they love her work outside of WWE. It's the casual fan, which is unfortunately the majority professional wrestling fan of WWE, is the casual fan who don't know exactly just how good and how much worth their time Alba is. So Triple H, recognizing that, being now a professional of the WWE machine and the indie machine, now understands, well, if I'm going to get the casual fans to fall in love with you the way that the indie fans have fallen in love with you, I got to put you with someone that the casual fans have already fallen in love with, i.e., Chelsea Green.
Yeah, so at least they're using Alba Fire. They're using
Yes, and I'm
her,
glad they are.
and
She deserves to work.
they're using her with Chelsea Green, who is a huge star in the WWE. So she gets TV time. She gets to be in the same segments with Chelsea Green, who's super over, who's the women's United States champion. So I think this is a win for Alba Fire, and I am interested to see where all of this goes. And I'm happy for Alba Fire that she's still on the main roster. So I just want to hear your thoughts about that. Moving on.
As far as
Uh-huh.
and really quick, Zelina Vega. You kept calling her Selena, but Zelina Vega.
Who cares?
Zelina. I think that if you're not going to give it to Michin, I agree with BT on this one. Michin is definitely someone heavily underutilized, heavily underappreciated, but I do love that Triple H has tried to give her time with these Extreme Rules matches she's been in, the stuff with Nia Jax. They've given her time. They just won't give her the title. But
No.
Zelina was someone who they proved Zelina can be over with the right audience. Zelina does have a connection with the fans.
Zelina has a connection with the fans. She could be over with the right audience in Puerto Rico.
That's fair, very fair, and I will give you that. But with the right time and attention, I don't think the fans want to see Chelsea Green drop it anytime soon. But if you're going to have Chelsea drop it, the title.
Oh, okay.
I don't see anybody wanting Chelsea to. I don't want Chelsea to drop it already. I love her.
Oh, you don't?
I love her with it.
Are you sure about
However, if you're gonna have her drop it to someone, have her drop it to someone that it's actually going to help. And here's the biggest thing about that: if you're gonna put someone over in a big way with a title match, you got to make sure the person you're dropping it to. Remember, the title can't make the champion. The champion needs to make the title. Chelsea Green makes that title worth watching it be defended because she's a great character and a great wrestler. If you're going to have her drop to someone, they need to be just as good or great as Chelsea is with it.
And it's not Zelina Vega.
And I don't think it is.
It's not.
And I agree with you.
All right.
I think it should be Piper.
Jesus Christ. All right, let's move on. let's talk about I don't know who it's going to be. I can't think of anyone who is as good, not just in the ring, but on the mic and has as much charisma as Chelsea Green. But
Piper definitely has the chops for it. If she turns on Chelsea, it turns Chelsea face, which she already gets face reactions anyway, and then they can have a one-on-one for the dissension of their actual team. Chelsea goes on. Alba Fire stays maybe with Chelsea or stays with Piper, but it can work. But then
man.
you have a monster heel holding that United States title, and anybody coming up to face her has to put in the work to beat her, and
All
that's the
right.
thing.
All right, we'll see what happens with that. Let's talk about the show now, you guys. Let's talk about, and I'm going to start with BT Knight again because we're going to talk about Mr. LA Knight. Yeah. Okay. So, hold on, BT. Control yourself. LA Knight comes out to start off the show, and he gets interrupted by Jimmy Uso. Jimmy Uso starts to give his spiel like, I'm desperate. WrestleMania's coming up. I want to face you at WrestleMania for the United States title. Okay, I'm with it. But then here comes Solo Sikoa and his mighty self, and he says, "No, no, no, Jimmy. If there's one person that deserves a United States title more than you," and I thought for sure Solo Sikoa was gonna say me. Solo Sikoa. And I'm for that too. Solo Sikoa versus LA Knight at WrestleMania, take my money. But he did not say Solo Sikoa. He said Jacob Fatu. And when he said that, the people in Europe, which by the way, Spain was a fucking amazing crowd, they popped huge for Jacob Fatu. They want to see Jacob Fatu come up, face LA Knight at WrestleMania. But this whole thing turned into a 6-man tag team match after Solo Sikoa, Jacob Fatu, Tama Tonga attacked Jimmy Uso and LA Knight, and then Braun Strowman came out to even out the odds. It turned to a 6-man tag team match. So we have so much stuff going on here, you guys. We have so much stuff going on here. Jimmy Uso came out to confront LA Knight. Solo Sikoa interrupted and said Jacob Fatu deserves a title shot. So we have Jimmy Uso, Jacob Fatu wanting to face LA Knight. And then we have the 6-man tag, which ended with Braun Strowman and Jacob Fatu. So what do you guys think is going to happen here? You guys think we will see, because the Jacob Fatu and Braun Strowman story continued here. They've been going at it. Are we going to see Jacob Fatu versus Braun Strowman? Or are we going to see Jacob Fatu and LA Knight? Or are we going to see Jimmy Uso versus LA Knight? What do you guys think is happening here, BT Knight? Let's go with you.
All right. First off, shout out to Barcelona. I got the Barcelona poster behind me, 2017-2018 squad with Lionel Messi, all of them. Fucking amazing. That crowd, you are absolutely right. They were fucking awesome tonight. They did an amazing job. When LA Knight walked out and he got that standing ovation, I shedded a tear because I haven't heard that much of an ovation for him since London Money in the Bank 2023. So it was really good to have those feelings again. Jimmy Uso coming out. Let me just correct you for a second because these bastards decided to edit this. When Jimmy Uso came out, he said US titles. What he originally had said before they decided to cut it was US tag titles. So you're telling me that you can keep the word titles and not cut out the S, but you can cut the word tag? How does that compute?
That's funny.
How the fuck does that compute? Anyway, moving on. I really want to see Jacob and Braun Strowman go at it again. But Jacob did say that he's gonna go at him again next week. So I don't know what stipulation they have yet, but I really want to see a fucking street fight between these two. I really wanted them to fight at WrestleMania. Imagine a street fight at WrestleMania. Oh my god, I could just see that. Like that would do numbers.
Yeah.
But that being a main event for SmackDown would be crazy in itself because they're two fucking behemoths, you know? So, but I strongly believe that Jimmy deserves a US title reign. The only thing I'm skeptical about is if LA Knight's going to drop the title at WrestleMania, which I don't know if it's true. So, if anybody can correct me on this, but I'm pretty sure if you hold that title for at least a good month or under a month, you're considered a transitional champion. Is that correct in any sort of way?
I mean, I don't think there's like a specific time frame. It just means like if you have a if you have a really short run, then I think some people may call you that.
It's honestly subjective. Technically, you could say that anybody who's gotten cashed in on with Money in the Bank is a transitional champion. However, there have been transitional champions that had to hold the title because another person they wanted to put it on was either out with injury, family issue, this or that, finishing up another story, and they were only using them to put it on someone else. So like Jey Uso, when he won the Intercontinental Championship and held it for a cup of coffee just to drop it back to Braun Breaker so they could get him back in the Bloodline story. They used that title transitionally through Jay so he could get screwed out of it in story to give it back to Braun. That is a transitional champion. You're using it to further a story and a plot line, and it's being used as a Schrodinger's cat to essentially, or a MacGuffin, to then push it somewhere else you really want it to go to further something else. So if he holds it for a month just to drop it, he would be, but I would consider Shinsuke more of a transitional champion than LA Knight at that point.
Yeah, but still, if he's defending it within that month and then he just drops it all of a sudden to somebody, the biggest fear is that it happens at WrestleMania because everybody wants Jimmy to be U.S. champion, and I just wish. I wish Shinsuke didn't win the match at Survivor Series. They had booked him as a big thing, and they had to just fucking put the title on him when you had such an amazing thing going on with LA Knight. And I understand that plans were running out. They were running out of ideas and things like that, but it was just so annoying how we had such a good build for Shinsuke and you did nothing with him. And that was just so annoying to me. So you put the title back onto LA Knight just for him to hold it for a month and possibly lose it to Jimmy at WrestleMania or Jacob at WrestleMania. And that is just something that I don't sit with very well. So those are my thoughts.
I don't know if the match with Jimmy and LA Knight would make sense because they're both baby faces. But if somehow they manage to do that, BT Knight, you're a big Jey Uso fan, right?
Yeet.
Okay, imagine this: Jimmy versus LA Knight.
LA Knight has to be the heel. LA Knight has to be the heel because Jay is so fucking over with those fans. And I understand LA Knight is as well, but Jay has more of a, how would I call it? More of a momentum shift, if that makes sense.
Sorry, my son was calling me, so I fucking, he's calling me again. LA Knight versus Jimmy Uso. Jimmy Uso beats LA Knight. Jey Uso beats Gunther on the same night. Jay and Jimmy in the same ring, both as champions. You wouldn't be down to see that?
I would be, but it's just how they booked LA Knight winning the US title that just doesn't sit with me. Like, for the second time. Because he shouldn't be a two-time champ at this point. He should only be one-time champ and then losing the title at WrestleMania, which I thought was the original plan, but they booked Shinsuke as a fucking monstrous heel and then beats him within the first
month. It's like his first match back or his second match back, and he wins the title straight away, like right after being repackaged. Like, that's crazy to me. And I know people are going to sit there and be like, Motor City Machine Guns were debuted for 2 to 3 weeks. The hell are you talking about? They won the title within their first 3 matches. Yeah, but they're booking Motor City Machine Guns better than they ever booked Shinsuke. They didn't hide them on the shelf for a good solid 3-4 months. That's the problem. That's the problem. They're actually having a story with Motor City Machine Guns. They had nothing with Shinsuke. And yeah, it just didn't sit with me right. But I would love to see Jimmy and Jay both holding singles titles. I would
Gotcha.
love to see that. But it was just the way that they booked LA Knight's second title run that just has me up the fucking wall. So
All right, Toxic. Let's hear from you, Toxic. What did you think about this? The opening segment and the opening match where we saw the 6-man tag team match. After everything that we saw, what do you think it was like the major takeaway of all of this?
When Ella and I came out and started talking and couldn't talk over the massive crowd in Barcelona, good crowd by the way. I said in my head, you know what would make this SmackDown good, like start off good, if Jimmy Uso came out. Well, surprise, surprise, he did. Um, I would so love to see this at Mania, but I would be fine with just Jimmy and LA Knight. Fatal four way: Jacob Fatu, LA Knight, Jimmy Uso, and Braun Strowman. But I just wouldn't see Braun Strowman winning that because do we really want to see Braun Strowman with a title? No, we don't. So, yeah, but I loved this match. It was good, and yeah.
All right, Blood, and then Tommy.
As far as I'm concerned, I've said from the get go with this United States Championship program, uh, I've said from the start that I definitely think I don't see it as a one-on-one at Mania. I have seen it as a multi-man. Mania. This is the thing. I see so many of the matches on this Mania's card all as multi-men because they've interwoven so many fucking people into each other's stories, and then it's not that they're stop-start, involvements. These are over the last year have been weaved in and out of each other over and over again to where it makes sense that you would put Jimmy in the path of LA with Solo and or Jacob there, with Braun Strowman returning from his injury there, because any way you look at the match, everybody has a problem with each other, right? So LA's got a problem with Jacob Fatu. Jacob Fatu and Solo have a problem with Jimmy. Jacob Fatu has a problem with Braun Strowman. So, and when you look at it, but here's another thing. If you have a fatal four way, there's only one heel in the match if it's Jacob Fatu. So you've got three people getting cheered for, and then you have a heel who's also getting cheered for. So you do have that factor of the crowd will be into it all the way around. The least fanfare probably for Braun Strowman, whom people still forget at one point for a year solid was the most overact in the fucking company. Years and years ago, he was the most overact in the company. It's kind of crazy to think that was almost 10 years ago. But when it comes down to this, the U.S. title has been treated, in my opinion, quite poorly since Seth Rollins lost it. And to be 100% honest, I don't think that the United States title has been treated well since Seth had his last run with it when he was, going back and forth with Bobby Lashley and fucking Austin Theory, if I remember correctly. And I believe it was for the U.S. title, if I'm correct, right? It was not the okay. So the thing is, it hasn't meant much in over a year and almost a half. They've tried. I think the problem is that they let Logan Paul hold on to it so long without us ever really seeing him pump it up, this or that. Sure, he brought it on his Impulsive podcast. Sure, he came in and had some decent matches, with it with against other people. But if I'm being honest, I think I remember like one fucking match that he had with that title, and I want to say it was Rey Mysterio, and I could be fucking wrong. So for me, I don't remember anything else he did with it. I don't remember anything Shinsuke has done with it, and that's fucking recency memory. LA Knight, the only reason I even remember LA Knight holding it for as much as he did is because of his nonstop, never-ending program with Andrade and Carmelo. But other than that, and I'll be 100% honest with you, before Logan Paul won it, I don't know who Logan Paul won it from. And I think it was Seth, but I'm blanking.
LA Knight.
And
Rey Mysterio.
it was that. Was it
Rey
was it
Mysterio
Ray he beat
was
it?
the
Yeah,
first holder. He beat Austin Theory, and
okay,
then
619. Okay, but that
Yeah.
right there is a problem that I can't think back 3 champions, and we had all 3 of those people as champion in the last year and 3 months since January of last year. I can't even remember who held the title in order. That's a problem for me. Because you know what? I can go back in my memory and I can tell you everybody's held the Intercontinental title in the last year and 6 months. I can tell you everybody's held the world titles in the last year and 6 months, the women's championships in the last year and 6 months. The tag titles, not so much, considering we got new rebranded ones last year. But I can tell you, I can at least name 3 of the teams that held them for both sides. But the U.S. title, I had to ask for help for someone to tell me who the fuck Logan Paul won it from. That's a problem. For me to not think Rey Mysterio, the big star that he is, tells you everything you need to know about the division. The U.S. title doesn't need a rebranding, but it needs to be booked better. And it never should have been taken off of LA Knight. Sure, they were worried that his run wasn't working because it seemed like it wasn't getting as much fanfare. It was kind of floundering. He seemed to be a better chaser than a title holder. But that's when you got to double down on the guy and give him a chance to prove you wrong, not take it off of him the first chance you get and hot potato it on to Shinsuke Nakamura, whom we know has 0 proven track record in WWE of being a good champion. He has held titles multiple times in his company, and every title run he's had fell flat. Okay? It fell flat. And so to take it off of him to put it on a returning, Shinsuke within just a couple weeks of returning, just so you could then be like, wait, what were we going to do with this guy again? I don't know, man. I think I lost the notes on what we plan on doing with Shinsuke. And then you go, well, fuck it. We'll just see how it goes, and then we'll take it off the first chance we get. And then they use his brother's death to take it off of him and put it back on LA with now these new rumors circulating online that Shinsuke may or may not be leaving WWE to go back to Japan. So that's in the works. That's a rumor that's circling this week. So it's like, well, why did you ever put it back on if you had no plans past one feud with LA Knight and no other contenders after it?
Well,
because if you look at the U.S. title picture, how many baby faces are there really in there for Shinsuke to have gone up against? Think about it. The majority of the people in the U.S. title picture are fucking heels.
Like who?
You got Solo, Jacob, Shinsuke, Carmelo, fucking Hayes, Logan Paul if he comes back to it. You got Santos fucking Escobar. Okay, how many baby faces were there really for you to throw at Shinsuke that would have been good matches, feuds that you could have told good stories with? Let me ask you this: do you think they would have told a good story between Shinsuke and Jimmy? Hell no.
Why not?
Okay, a good story. What story would you tell?
I mean, The Mist.
We've had that story. So we've had that story with someone else. What, you're going to retread it? So, here's the thing. You're going to tell a good story between Shinsuke Nakamura and Carmelo Hayes, who's been on a fucking losing streak for a year? No. So why did you put it on a guy why did you put it on him if you didn't have a good direction for it to go? You know what I didn't want to see? I don't want to see Braun Strowman versus Shinsuke Nakamura.
Oh, God, no.
So again, why put it on them if there was not a good enough division of stories to tell? It never should have left LA Knight until Mania. It's where you could have built a great story for a multi-man or between him and Jimmy. You could have told the story of Jimmy's first ever singles win, right? You could have told the story of the rise of Jacob Fatu. Okay, there was a couple stories you could have told. You could have told the story of the rise of Andrade El Idolo, or ran it back to where the feud between LA Knight and Andrade and Carmelo picked back up again leading into Mania after it had a cool down period. And then they could have put on a fucking classic together like they had been doing on the biggest stage of them all, and then crowned Andrade as the next U.S. champion, who the fans love. It just,
I think that's
it was
probably,
a miss. It was a miss. It was a miss.
I think that's probably what we'll probably see down the line.
Eventually.
Andrade as a US champion. But let's hear from Tommy.
But if you ask me, this was the time to do it.
Tommy, what do you think about the opening segment for Friday Night SmackDown and the 6-man tag team match? And what do you think this is all going to lead to?
It's clearly leading to a fatal 4-way. It truly is. But if I were to have LA Knight drop it to anybody, it's got to be Jacob. Jacob is so much of a powerhouse right now that those two just going one-on-one would sell seats.
Yeah.
Just because how big both of them are. Like, Jacob himself is an absolute powerhouse. But with Braun, what people seem to forget, and I would love it to see if Triple H can somehow tie this into Braun again. He was once Raw Tag Team Champions with the youngest Tag Team Champion of all time. Need I remind you of that one episode, I believe it was of Raw, where he legitimately goes out into the crowd, grabs a random child, and puts him in the ring.
That was WrestleMania.
Wasn't that you, Tommy?
He did that at WrestleMania with one of the referee's kids.
Oh, yeah. But I
could have sworn that was you, Tommy.
Boy!
I'm kidding.
If I was over there, I would denozo you so fucking hard right now. Not funny. But I would love to see if with Braun, they could tie that back in. Because of the fact that they had to relinquish those tag titles like the next week or the next day.
Yeah. All right.
Just because Nicholas was too young and couldn't miss school.
Yeah.
All right. Let's. I want to talk about Jade Cargill a little bit because we heard from her on Friday Night SmackDown, and I believe she's scheduled to have her first match in what feels like forever next week. And she had a really heartfelt interview talking about, Naomi didn't just hurt me physically, she hurt me emotionally, and she betrayed our friendship and all these things. And then out comes Liv Morgan interrupting this interview. They had a little confrontation, and there's a few things that I want to point out about this interview. So I believe Jade Cargill is going to be facing Liv Morgan next week, but also Raquel and Jade Cargill in the same segment, in the same, I guess picture. To me, I got excited. I want to see Raquel versus Jade Cargill. And not only that, but this whole thing that's going on with Bianca Belair and everything, right? Kind of took me back to what we talked about earlier in the week. When it comes to Io Sky, I want to see Io Sky beat Bianca Belair and Rhea Ripley, which is what I'm pretty sure is going to turn out to be a triple threat match. And I have a feeling that Io Sky is going to pull this off with the help of Jade Cargill. Jade Cargill is going to come out at WrestleMania and interfere in this match. And that's how Io Sky is going to win. And that's when we're going to find out that Bianca Belair is in fact involved with all of this that is going on with Jade Cargill and Naomi. That's what I want to talk about when it comes to this interview. I know I'm all over the place tonight, but first thing, Jade Cargill next week versus Liv Morgan potentially could lead to Raquel Rodriguez versus Jade Cargill, which I want to see. And I think Bianca's still involved, but who wants to go first here, fellas? Tommy, your hand was up first. Go ahead.
One, Blood, you're lucky I'm not eating my fucking pizza rolls, you piece of shit. I'm over here laughing my ass off. Because you're over here acting like you're either asleep or dead. One of the two. But Liv and her, those two are going to be... It's going to be an interesting match. Especially to see if Raquel gets involved. Those two are definitely going to go at it. Either way. Especially knowing the fact of how much anger she's still holding in. Like, she is still emotionally pissed to the point where she will absolutely wreck the face of anyone that gets in her way. Yes, I know, pause. I understand that was a pause.
Unpause.
Fuck you. But I would honestly like to see her go up against Raquel as well. I'm completely with you on that, Snug, because I believe those two have a history together.
Hold on, let me timestamp this. 57 minute 57. Mr. Blood, you go next after Tommy. Finish your thoughts, Tommy. I have to go pee. I'm gonna edit this out. Go ahead.
If I'm correct, those two have a history with each other. Like, Blood, am I wrong on that?
Who has a history together?
Raquel and Jade.
That's fucking news to me. As far as I'm aware, Raquel was out on injury the majority of the time that Jade's even debuted in WWE.
I'm not even saying in WWE. I think they have like an actual past.
Not that I'm aware of. Jade really got her start in AEW. Raquel was never in AEW.
Her conversation stuff with Brandy. Never mind.
Yeah, you're thinking of Brandy Rhodes. Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Jade literally got, if I remember correctly, came onto the wrestling scene through AEW, got quote unquote trained by AEW, then had to get retrained by WWE for all the shit she learned wrong in AEW.
Yeah.
And then because they let regular wrestlers train her, not actual professional fucking veteran trainers train her. And then she was in the Performance Center so much longer than she was supposed to be. And they debuted her last year, very beginning of last year. So, no. I mean, honestly,
Yeah.
my opinions on it are pretty simple, but I'll let you go and finish your thought.
But I still would like to see a match between the two. Because you've got Raquel, who's got that speed and all of that. And then you've got Jade. God damn it, both of you. And then you've got Jade, who is an absolute powerhouse. Both of them are powerhouses. But that's pretty much it.
Look, my thoughts on this are pretty simple because I think he asked me to go after you, correct? Okay, so look, my thoughts on this are pretty simple, and I will actually wait because he's coming back right now. I that snug. So now,
Oh, were you guys waiting
timestamp.
on me?
After he only finished talking 20 seconds ago, then I decided to wait when I saw your shadow creep into the loom.
Oh, my
All
bad.
right, so
you guys didn't have to wait on me. Well, go ahead.
And All right, so look, my thoughts on Jade Cargill and Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez are this. Um, I'm annoyed that Liv Morgan and Raquel are even on SmackDown. Look, in my opinion, it's this simple. Massive Liv fan. I enjoy Liv's work. I've been a fan of Liv since the Riot Squad. Okay, I've been a huge fan of her the entire time. Um, with Jade, it's simple. I enjoy Jade's presentation. I enjoy her intensity, but she is greener than fucking baby shit in the ring. And she's gotten somewhat better, but even her last match in the company, right? Her last match before she got injured, tag match. Bianca is still hiding her weaknesses in the ring. I'm not ready to see a one-on-one match at Mania with Jade Cargill until I get some proof in the interim that she can hold a match together on her own without needing to be helped through every facet of the match. Her entrance, dope. Her presentation, dope. Her character, dope. Her intensity, her presence, fucking dope. But it says a lot to me about your division on SmackDown, your women's division on SmackDown, that you have to bring over your biggest women division stars of Raw onto SmackDown in order to pop a rating for SmackDown's women's division. Where you're like, you know what? Even though, Liv Morgan involved in all of her own stories, she's literally, by the way, the MVP of the women's division of 2024 of Raw. She actually wrestled more matches than anybody in the company on the women's side, on and off screen. And I respect Liv for the very fact that she is a hard worker. And I've seen her footage where she's with kids doing autograph signings, and she is the sweetest person in the world with fans. That tells you just how good she is at being a heel. That's why, like, someone like BT cannot stand her in his bones, because she's so good at being a heel, so good at her job. She's literally made you hate her legitimately, and that tells you just how good she is at being her character. When it comes to Jade, Jade's character isn't really a character. It's, I'm Jade Cargill. I'm a powerhouse, powerful black woman. I am whatever, and I'm this huge, big, beautiful, sculpted, strong, powerful black woman who is basically Bianca Belair 2.0 with more intense presentation. And in my opinion, do I want to see Liv versus Jade Cargill? No, because in my opinion, it's just a David versus Goliath match. Liv Morgan is, in my opinion, gotten a million times better over the last 4 years in the ring. She can put together a match. She can sell. She has a much better move set. She's got a great direction. But putting her with Jade, do I think Liv Morgan is good enough where she could carry someone as green as Bianca through a match? I'd have to see it. Because I thought, for instance, that Bayley could carry anybody through a match. And then I watched Bayley versus Lyra Valkyria. Okay? So, will it be a fine match? I'm sure. I think it's going to end by interference.
By Raquel.
By Raquel. But do I need to see Raquel versus, or by Naomi, but do I need to see Raquel versus Jade either? No, because in my opinion, I don't have enough faith in Jade in the ring yet to say that I want to see a big versus big match with her. I would trust a Jade Cargill Mania one-on-one big versus big match if her opponent was someone like Bianca, who I know could get a great match out of her. But I don't know why this feels like filler. It feels like, what the biggest problem is? I said this a couple weeks ago. Here's my biggest problem with this Mania. This whole Mania. Here's my problem. They booked it too far out. That's the problem.
Storytelling.
You put it in the third week of April when it's normally in the last week of March or the first week of April. You booked it an extra 2 weeks after that, when the last pay-per-view before it is almost 2 months prior. And that's why we're having so many problems with Jey Uso and Gunther's story. Why it feels so stalemated and halted. We're trying to tell the story of The Rock and or John Cena and Cody, but John Cena can only be there when it fits the schedule. Okay, we're supposed to be telling a long burn story between Drew McIntyre and Damian Priest, but are we supposed to watch them just jump each other for the next fucking 4 weeks? Are we supposed to watch the Bloodline jump LA Knight for the next 4 weeks? We've been watching it already for 4 weeks. So my problem is there should have been another pay-per-view put in between fucking Elimination Chamber and WrestleMania. If WrestleMania was going to be at almost the end of April, you needed one more buffer or a Saturday night's main event in there, something to put another notch in the stories or something. Because right now it feels like we are literally, it feels like every single fucking rivalry in this company is circling the wagon, holding its breath for Mania, and nothing truly feels like it's getting progressed across the board. So you have to throw in people from other brands to fill out your stories in the interim, like throwing Liv, a Raw superstar, in on SmackDown.
They're in a European tour.
Who cares? We still have brands.
Everyone is traveling. Everyone is in Europe, so why not use your top stars on either?
Because they've been traveling. They've been traveling all week. They're all going to be at the same live events. They're all going to be at the same TV tapings. It's one giant production travel. They're all literally in the same tour buses. So why not use
them on the same shows?
Because you still have brands. Because it makes it obvious. What's the point of the brand split if you don't adhere to the brand split?
That's been long gone for a while, I feel like.
But then why tout it every single year? Why act like it's so important every year that you do the draft if it doesn't matter? It has to matter. If you're telling me it matters, you need to show me that it matters.
All right, let's hear from
Throwing people over just because you need to fill some time, it's a waste.
Let's hear from Toxic. We haven't heard from him. Toxic, what did you think about this interview with Jade Cargill?
The interview was honestly disappointing. I was expecting a lot more. Fuck Liv Morgan, by the way. And Mr. Blood, I do have an answer for you why Liv Morgan and Raquel are on SmackDown. It is because of the Women's Tag Team Championships. They can go through any three brands, Raw, NXT, and SmackDown. So that is why they are on SmackDown. And
then talk to a tag team.
Exactly.
Then talk to a tag team.
Exactly. It's fucking stupid. Why not just make Raw Tag Team Championships for the women's and bring the NXT Women's Tag Team Championships back and the SmackDown and like make a SmackDown Women's Championship.
They wasted a week to further. They wasted a week to further the Naomi story. They wasted
exactly. But like I said, the Jade interview, it was just disappointing. I was expecting more.
Yeah, they're definitely playing the long game here with Jade Cargill. I had a feeling she was going to give us a whole lot, and she didn't. You know, she took her time, and then Liv Morgan and Raquel came out and interrupted the interview, which gave them another reason to kind of extend this whole thing. But final thoughts, Mr. Blood, and then let's move on.
I'm going to say something real quick that we've all heard, and that it's massively important when it comes to this.
Raquel Rodriguez is the best. Yes, I know.
Fuck you.
The best undercarders for sure. But when it comes to this, you said something, Snug. You said it's long-term storytelling.
Yeah.
You're wrong. You're wrong. And I'll tell you why. There's a difference between long-term storytelling and taking too long to tell a story. And that's the problem that we're having across the board right now. They are taking too long to tell every single one of these stories lately. Mania should have been booked for the end of March or the first week of April, because then we'd be there in 2 weeks for closing shows. Waiting another month and 4 days? Come on. We got to sit through this another month and 4 days until we get some payoff. Nothing is happening. The biggest thing that's going to happen between now and the next 2 weeks is just going to be John Cena face-to-face with Cody Rhodes. What else is there? We're going to watch Kevin Owens and Randy jump each other for another month and a week until something happens? Come on. You see what I'm saying? Long-term storytelling, taking too long to tell a story.
Yeah, I mean, taking too long to tell a story, yes. I do agree with you to a certain extent, but also sold out fucking arenas, ratings to the top. They don't have to do almost
Well,
anything,
yeah,
and
and
they're
you are
still
right.
getting
You are right.
numbers. So it's like
You're right.
they're gonna
You're
keep
right.
doing this until people are
You are
like,
100%. You are 100% correct. The product is hot, but at the same time, what excuse is that to cop out? Because they're copping out. That's what that is. It's a cop out.
I
Because we're
mean,
so hot, we can sell
it's
out
working.
everything. They'll come and watch anything that we put on TV, even if it's nonsensical and doesn't feed any story we're trying to tell.
It's
That's an
working.
insult to the fan. It's an insult to the fans' intelligence.
Not only that, how much money are people paying for WrestleMania tickets? Not only that, how much
Some
money
are over $2,000 for middle row.
the Monday Night Raw, literally the Monday Night Raw before WrestleMania is sold out. It's here in my hometown, and I can't afford to go because I already bought WrestleMania tickets. But the tickets for the fucking nosebleeds right now are like $300.
I want you to understand that I can go to NXT anytime. I'll show you guys later in the chat. I get invited to NXT live tapings every week in my emails. I have two friends that work there, but I also get fucking emails because I'm a local, and they literally email me so I can sign up to come to NXT tapings twice a week, every week for the last year. I could have gone this past week just from signing up last Saturday because they invite me every week because the tickets are free. But I don't because I don't really care that much to drive
I would
45
be
minutes
there
to go
every
watch
week
the
if I
show.
were you.
And here's the thing, I could, but I got a million other things to do. My wife wants me to sign up because she wants to go. My wife also does security for Universal Studios right around the corner. I can go to TNA like I used to anytime I want. AEW tapings. The reason I don't is because to me, I'm more interested in the main roster storytelling. I'm not 100% sure on the storytelling happening next year, and I'd be lost if I went. But at least I can say if I did go, I could at least be more entertained by the freshness of the stories on NXT versus the shit that's been circling the drain on the main roster. I love every story they're telling the main roster, but it's hard to not get bored when you are waiting this long for payoffs. This is a long time for payoffs.
All right, let's move on to the next thing because I feel like BT Knight, he's in Australia. He's probably gonna fall asleep on us here. So, BT, are you all right?
I think he's asleep.
I think so. Oh, god damn it. I'm going to have to edit this out. So,
I think Mr. Blood took too long.
let me see. Hold on. Let me see what's
No
going
offense,
on
Blood.
here. Tommy's here.
BT, wake up. Liv Morgan's the greatest.
What the hell? Where's Tommy?
I think his screen froze. Oh,
And there he goes.
I think his screen froze.
Oh, okay. All right. What the? Tommy, what are you doing, Tommy?
I had
There
to
we
go
go.
back out and back in because black screen.
All right. Just really quick because we have a lot to talk about, and Charlotte Flair versus B-Fab ended in Charlotte Flair winning by submission, and then Charlotte Flair, when she had the submission, she didn't let go even after the bell rang. So Charlotte Flair is a super heel now. Tiffany Stratton came out for the save, and they had a huge pull apart. I mean, like, huge pull apart, okay? These women were fighting nonstop for, felt like 15 minutes or something crazy like that. Security guards couldn't pull them apart. They were jumping off fucking balconies and top ropes and all these crazy things. These women, which kind of leads to like what Mr. Blood was saying, that we have such a long time. We have a few weeks until WrestleMania, but these women went from being like not very familiar with each other, and now they're really pissed off with each other, and they're fighting nonstop. And I really want to see this match. I'm so excited to see Tiffany Stratton versus Charlotte Flair. When it comes to WrestleMania and Charlotte Flair, I feel like Charlotte Flair always delivers in WrestleMania. Tiffany Stratton is one hell of a wrestler, one hell of an athlete. We're going to put these two in the ring at WrestleMania, and I think it's going to be lovely. So, thoughts on this match with Charlotte Flair versus B-Fab and the Afterbirth? Who hasn't gone first? I think Mr. Blood. I don't think you've gone first yet. Let's go with Mr. Blood and then Toxic.
Toxic, eat it. But as far as concerned, look, Charlotte Flair, you guys know that's my number one draft pick for the women's division of all time. She's my absolute favorite. Tiffany Stratton has also come such a long way. No yeet toxic. As far as concerned, I think that, in my opinion, this might be the most exciting thing that's happening on SmackDown because it's being done sparingly because we're not getting a lot between these two. It is very sporadic where it's happening. Um, Charlotte has never had a bad Mania performance. And if she has, I dare you to fucking find it and then show me so I can tell you how wrong you are. Um, when it comes to Charlotte Flair, again, she had the best worked fucking match last year against Rhea Ripley at Mania. It was the best match of the weekend. Fight me as far as work rate is concerned. I will end on that hill. And when you have Tiffany, someone who's so hot and so over and so fresh and so charismatic and has such a great crowd connection, and she can also work. Not only does Tiffany not need help already looking great, just having Charlotte in there with her is going to make her look like $1 billion, not a million. Because the girl already looks like $1 million. She works like $1 million. Put Charlotte in there with her, her stock goes through the roof. If Charlotte puts her over, bro, the rocket on Tiffany Stratton's back, that girl will enter a whole nother fucking galaxy on that propulsion. And Charlotte is at the point in her career where she's starting to do the right thing. She's not selfish anymore. She made it with Becky. She had that come to Jesus moment. She realized what's important. And she's almost 40. So she doesn't need to hold the gold. I'm sure they'll give it to her again at some point this year. But I think she knows the right thing to do is to put Tiffany over at Mania. Like she did the right thing last year and she put over Rhea at Mania. And there's that famous shot of her that I fell in love with when Rhea won last year, where Charlotte's just looking up at the Tron across from her, leaning up against the apron on the outside of the ring. And she's literally kind of crying a little bit while she's literally smiling and clapping for Rhea. She's so proud of her. She's at that point where she is definitely like the mother hen of the locker room, in my opinion, like Natalia is, where she's just there to cultivate new talent, to sit there and make sure that they have the right tools to be the next generation. And I think putting Tiffany in Charlotte's line of sight under her learning tree, especially since they're working so closely together. Tiffany just strikes me as that kind of person that's a sponge for information and knowledge of the game. And what better sponge than, your fucking, 14, 15-time world champion in Charlotte, who's done it all, has nothing left to prove, and is now at that point where she's selfless in her career. She's going to help Tiffany Stratton unlock the next fucking year of her career. And I'm here for it. The only gripe I have about this segment with the brawl was awesome. And I loved that they kept coming back. I also find it funny that a group of grown men cannot hold back two women who are not more than 125 to 130 pounds soaking wet. And for some reason, these girls can keep breaking through 4 to 5 guys apiece. Guys, hit the gym. But also, sometimes I get annoyed at the whole let's all stand in a group so someone can dive on us. We were all fighting each other, but now let's all just face the same way and do it. And then let's all look up collectively like, oh no, this 130-pound girl is going to jump on the group of all of us that total weights are probably around 1,200 people standing here, 1,200 pounds standing here. But we're all going to get knocked over by 125 pounds.
Since we're
And when
being
she fucking when
since
she
we're
did the flip,
since
she
we're
didn't
being
even hit
picky,
Charlotte.
since we're being picky, Mr. Blood, really quick, and I'm gonna let you finish your thoughts before we move on with Toxic. Um, Tiffany Stratton's front flip when she did the dive when she was gonna jump when she jumped on the crowd of security guards. Is it just me, or does she wait till like the very last second to tuck her chin in
She
and
she she
hit
she
that
she
fucking?
waits.
And I'm just like,
She
oh my
waits because
god! Like, you get what I'm
here's the
saying?
thing. It's on purpose, and I'll tell you why. When I did gymnastics, when I was in middle school and early high school, we learned a lot. It's called tumbling training. When they're teaching you how to do flips, it's called tumbling practice. And I learned that when I was doing my rotations for front flips, standing front flips on the tumble track, and on middle floor, was that if you if you rotate second to last minute, you're going to stick the landing every time. If you if you rotate too early, you over rotate and you go straight on your face. Or she was also worried if she over rotated at that angle, as high as she would have landed feet first on them instead of back first, where it's safer than to catch them. She would have injured somebody. So she does that on purpose based on the height.
Fair enough.
Same thing at War Games. She rotated last second, so she would get the back first.
I always cringe
But
every time she does a front flip. Like, oh
it's
fuck!
it's
I feel like
it's
she's gonna
completely
break her neck or something.
that she's the last person you have to worry about because she's also a very, very accomplished gymnast
All
before she
right,
came to WWE.
that I just had to
But
throw
my
that out there real quick. But go ahead, finish your thoughts so we can
yeah,
move on to
yeah,
Toxic.
but my thought is the standing in a crowd thing. I get tired of that trope sometimes because of it takes me out of the realism only because there's eight of you guys that are all totaling near 1,000 to 1,200 pounds, and this one person of 120 pounds drops on you, and you guys all fall over. And when she did the flip, she didn't even hit Charlotte. She hit the two people to the side of her, behind her, and Charlotte still fell over and sold it like she got hit by a fucking bowling ball. And I was like, okay, that took me out of it a little bit. Cool ass visual, but come on, guys. She didn't even touch Charlotte. She touched two people over, and they all fell down. And Charlotte sold it like she got knocked out. And I was like, come on, what are we doing here? Stop this. Other than that, it's going to be a fire Mania match. I wouldn't be surprised if it steals the show work rate wise at Mania.
Well, Toxic was supposed to be next, but I don't know where he went. So let's go with BT Knight. Thoughts on this match here with the Charlotte Flair and B-Fab, and then the afterbirth, the big pull apart with Charlotte Flair and Tiffany Stratton.
Hello, hello, hello. You guys hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, good. All right. First off, I didn't get my thoughts on the Jade Cargill interview, but if you want me to move on, that's fine.
No, let's hear it. I don't know. I'll take full responsibility for that, BT Knight. My bad.
It's all good. It's all good. Just very quickly, I'll make it very quick and then go straight to the Charlotte and Tiffany stuff because I really didn't give a fuck about the Charlotte and B-Fab match. I didn't even watch it. I just saw the ending. So anyway, the interview, Jade was really emotional about it, and I love that. The part that I'm very happy about is how she brought up that Bianca so easily tag teamed with Naomi. But the part that really got me was how they were like, we were all sisters, we were all friends. And I'm like, really? Really? But that's neither here nor there. Liv showing up. Oh my god, somebody hold a ray gun to my fucking skull. I swear to god, if I hear that woman laugh like a female Joker. Jesus Christ. But there's a reason why she showed up because she has been falsely accused of attacking Jade Cargill. And she deserves, as much as I fucking hate it, she deserves to rub it in everybody else's face. She fully deserves that, and I'll definitely give her that excuse. But quit the fucking laugh, would you? Jesus! Ugh, jeez. So yeah, that's my thought on that. Charlotte and BFAB didn't give a fuck about that. Saw the ending. um, Charlotte and Tiffany crashing out. Crash out season. Absolutely love it. Shout out to In the Clutch, my favorite YouTube streaming platform. Always with the crash out season merch. Love them so much, bro. Love them so much. Their reactions are priceless. I always love them, bro.
I never miss their wrestling reacts.
Yeah, Kicking It with Ross is my favorite. He's my favorite, bro. I've tagged him on Twitter so many times. He's reacted to some of my content. He's fucking awesome. He legit has the script for every single fucking show. I'm telling you. But anyway, Charlotte and Tiffany crashing out. Absolutely loved it. But yeah, I'm really getting sick of the trope where everybody piles up, someone dives, and there was about 5 or 6 people that didn't get hit, and half of them included Charlotte. Like, how many people had to not get hit and then still sell the fact that they felt that was Jinder Mahal levels of selling, bro? When Jinder Mahal, when that motherfucker jumps off the top rope and then he just goes, "Oh shit." He just sells it and never got hit. Like, bro, I'm starting to get really sick of that trope as well. But yeah, them crashing out in the crowds, I absolutely love it. I love it when they do that because the crowd gets to interact with them, and we always see some of the funniest stuff with the crowds as well. So, I loved every single second of it. It definitely gave me a second to forget that Charlotte and BFAB match because I don't even think the Barca crowd was even reacting to that, apart from booing Charlotte continuously. I don't think BFAB was getting any reactions at all, which is pretty sad. But
they released Sonya Deville and Isla Dawn, but kept BFAB on the main roster to wrestle once every 5 months. Go figure.
yeah, and fucking be Michin's backup, which is completely useless if she's gonna lose continuously. But that's neither here nor there. But that Tiffany and Charlotte crash out was fucking awesome. It's not CM Punk and Seth Rollins crash out levels because those two crashing out will always be fucking legendary. But it's definitely up there. I'm very excited for that match. So those are my thoughts.
All right, Tommy, and then Toxic.
So the match was eh. I honestly wish it was better because it honestly deserved to be better. But the crash out, absolutely loved it. And also, what a way to start this off. This man could not even hold the crowd together because people were so focused on round 2 between Tiffany and Charlotte. Miz couldn't even hold the audience together because those two were still going at it. What a way to start that off. But these two, it's a blondie battle. It really is. It is a battle of the blondes. Which blonde is the better blonde? That is the question for WrestleMania. Is which blonde is the better blonde? That's pretty much it. But it's still going to be a great match, and we all know it.
Toxic.
Okay, completely forgot my thought because of Mr. Blood. Thanks for taking so long, and my phone died. So yeah. But the match, I hated it. Holy shit! Crash Out season is upon us. Jay turned back to Crash Out. Jay. Kevin Owens crashed out before Elimination Chamber and went to Sammy's house, and now we have Charlotte and Tiffany. Like, holy shit!
Security is going to need health insurance.
Like it takes them like what 20 to 30 people to pull apart two blondes that have that has the same exact moveset. But whenever it comes to Jacob Fatu and Strowman, they're like, "Oh hell no,
Okay.
I ain't doing that shit."
Someone needs to explain. Oh, not someone. You, Toxic. You explain this crash out word that I keep hearing. What the fuck does that even mean?
Crash out is where like you just give up, where you uh let out all of your rage and just be a menace. Okay, so but it's crazy because they didn't just go one round and then they didn't just go backstage and be done with it. Miz TV started. Cody Rhodes hasn't even came out yet, and they're still fighting. They come back out for round two. Tiffy ends it by just jumping off the Tron, and then Cody crashes out. So yeah,
All right, cool. What else do we got next? Just really quick. Gunther and Axiom had a match. Yes, Axiom was there because that was his hometown. Apparently he's from Spain, and I saw a video or a picture of him showing up at another show in Spain without a mask. Never seen him without a mask before. But this is the tag team, the NXT tag team champion. He's a mid-carder in developmental NXT. Went blow for blow with Gunther, the World Heavyweight Champion of Monday Night Raw, which tells me what the fuck. Jey Uso better fucking beat Gunther at WrestleMania. This match, even Wade Barrett was saying it. Like, Wade Barrett said this, and I quote, I wrote this down because this was really important. This match should have been long gone. Axiom got way too much offense on Gunther. Again, Axiom. NXT's one half of the tag team champions. From developmental, I must add. Tommy, let's go with you first this time. What did you think about this match? And I know I kind of skipped over Randy Orton versus Carmelo Hayes, which we'll get to. That's going to be the last segment before we get out of here. So let's go with you first, Tommy. What did you think about this match?
I honestly completely agree here that the match should have been over before it started. Like it was a good match. Axiom gave him a run for his money. He truly did. But at least like he's not on the same level as Gunther right now. He's just not. Like almost unless you pay attention to NXT, you don't know who Axiom is. Pretty much. Unless you pay attention to NXT, in which he didn't even come out with his NXT tag title either. It was just him.
I didn't even notice that.
No, it was
he did. I saw him.
Just him. He didn't come out with the title.
I swear he did.
I didn't see it.
You must be blind or something.
Yes.
I don't remember him coming out with the title, but you could be right, Toxic.
But even if he did, this match still should not have happened. It was just another match where Gunther can just go, hey Jay, how about you watch as I beat the crap out of another one as preview for WrestleMania. That's all this match was. Was just Gunther trying to show off. That's it.
All right, who was next? Was it let's go with BT and then Toxic and then Blood.
All right, Gunther versus Axiom. Axiom put up a real good fight, and the evasion that he got in his hometown, very happy for him. Reminds me of Sami Zayn getting his ovation in Canada when he came up from NXT to go up against John Cena in 2015 for the US title. Just gave me those flashbacks, so I thought it was an awesome moment for him. The match itself, awesome. Um, they're basically showing a. They're basically telling the story of, can Gunther actually get the job done? Because we saw the same thing that happened at Saturday night's main event. Jey Uso got a lot of offense on Gunther. This isn't the first time that we've seen this. Jey Uso got a lot of fucking offense, only to lose to 2 fucking power bombs. Like, it's not the first time that we've seen this. And people are now actually questioning, is Gunther going to get the job done? And I like that. They're showing a vulnerable side to Gunther, which is something that I really like. As far as Gunther goes, his promos still need a lot of work. Although I will give him the shout out for the El Clasico comment, basically saying, it's lovely to be in Barcelona, but I wish I was in Madrid. And then he hits that a la Madrid. I got the Barcelona poster right there. Big Barca fan.
Yeah.
Real Madrid fan. Love
That
the El
was lovely.
Clasico. Yeah, one of the best football rivalries of all time, in my opinion. Anyway, yeah, Gunther still needs a bit of work on his mic skills, but apart from that, awesome stuff. Did what they wanted to do. Really good development stuff from Axiom, and I can't wait to see what they do with the NXT tag titles in the future. So those are my thoughts.
Put him on Solo. No, I'm kidding. All right, Toxic, go ahead.
Okay. Watching this match made me think of something. And I've been saying that Gunther's reign has been stale ever since he beat Randy. But I have noticed that Gunther is getting softer. He is getting softer. Over the past couple weeks, his opponents have been putting in a lot of offense. For instance, Akira Tozawa, Otis, Jay did it Saturday night's main event. Axiom tonight. All of Gunther's opponents that he's faced on a weekly basis has been getting in a lot of offense just for Gunther to hit the sleeper or the power bomb, and boom, that's it. By the way, Gunther can only prove that he's strong by sneaking up on Jay and hitting him with the sleeper. That's the only way he's proving that he will beat Jay. And another way he's getting softer, he goes up to Jay's brother to try and convince Jay to not do this when it's already locked in. There's no going back. They can't just say, hey, John, you're going against Gunther now, and Jay's going to go against Cody. You can't do that. He goes to Jimmy and says, hey, tell Jay to back out of this. Because for whatsoever reason, Gunther does not believe that he's going to lose. When a lot of his opponents has been putting in a lot of offense once again. It's just, he's trying to play mind games that don't really work. Jay is completely different from when he faced Gunther at Saturday Night Main Event, and I am confident that Jay will beat Gunther at WrestleMania. 4 letters, 1 word, yeet!
I agree 100% with you, Toxic, except for that last part. The whole 4 letters. Gunther is completely going soft, and Jey Uso is gaining a lot of momentum. Mr. Blood, your thoughts on this match with Gunther and Axiom?
4 letters, 1 word. Yay!
So
Now
stupid.
that was for toxic. But as far as it's concerned, um, we have a problem here because, in my opinion, when I look at this Gunther that we're seeing now, this Gunther loses to Randy Orton last year. This Gunther loses to Sheamus 2 years ago at Clash of the Castle. This Gunther. Let me ask you this: the only reason you let Axiom come out tonight is because it's hometown. It gets a massive pop for the audience. He's a hometown hero. Triple H is going to give that to him. He wants him to have it. You're also only going to give him all that offense so the crowd can get behind him louder and cheer hotter and be more into it because it's the hometown guy getting more offense. That's the only reason you would book the match that way. But it's a problem because though it's a feel good thing, you basically just sat there and said, hey, well, if a rando from NXT can come up here and give the world heavyweight champion the work, you're basically saying, hey, this NXT guy is better than our two main roster guys who also gave fucking Gunther some work a couple of weeks ago. Otis more than Akira, but Otis definitely got some fucking minutes in that match. And you're saying, hey, those two main roster guys, two of our main roster guys, couldn't take Gunther further than this guy from NXT. A tag wrestler from NXT couldn't take Gunther, or sorry, was able to take Gunther farther than a main roster Otis, a main roster Akira. You get all their comedy wrestlers. That doesn't fucking matter. You just told me that this one guy in NXT is better than two of your main talents in the main roster. So if that's the case, why should the NXT roster want to get called up in the first place if they're already doing better than their main roster guys now? That's what you just told me. And on top of that, Gunther is, yes, getting told the story of he is proving to himself that, hey, I can beat Jay because I am able to beat all of these other people that are in the same realm of Jay. Nothing beneath me, not worthy. And you're going to sit here and tell me that you're honestly comparing Axiom and Akira and Otis to Jay. Jay, world record holding tag team run wrestling Jay. Bloodline Jay took Roman to the limit. First person to pin Roman Reigns in almost 4 years, Jay. You're telling me that Gunther's trying to prove that Jay can't beat Gunther just because Gunther can beat Akira, fucking Otis, and Axiom? That's how he's supposed to prove to everybody that he can beat Jay? Again, and I say this, the most important title reign of the modern era of this fucking century being that of Roman Reigns, who ate his first pin loss in almost 4 years from Jay. You're telling me that these three guys are who Gunther is trying to prove are on the same level as Jay, and that's why Jay can't beat them? They don't compare to Jay. Not to mention, even if you take Akira and fucking Otis, tag team wrestlers, and you take Axiom and Faxiom, whatever, and those are tag wrestlers, those two teams together couldn't lace up one pair of the Usos' boots when they're together. So if you wanted me to believe that Gunther stands a chance against Jay, and that's what he's trying to prove, you need to be putting Gunther up against somebody that Jay is on the level with. It should be Jimmy versus Gunther. If Gunther's trying to prove a point, he should go up against Jimmy. He should go up against AJ Styles.
Aren't they trying to build up Jimmy, though?
But that's the thing. Whether you look at it or not, Jay has the push, yes. But Jimmy and Jay are just as good as each other in the ring. They have the exact same moveset down to the fact they both use spears, super kicks, the Uso splash. Their movesets are identical. They are just as good in the ring together because they were equals in their tag team. That's why they were so great. They are literally on. People act like Jimmy is the less better twin. They're on the same level, bro. And not to mention the fact that Jimmy is better on the mic than Jay. So when it comes down to it, if you want me to believe that you're telling me this story of Gunther trying to prove that he's not vulnerable, that he's dominant and Jay can't beat him, why don't you beat someone who's just as good as Jay or better on the way to Mania? Beat Jimmy. Then I'll think you can stand a chance against Jay. But you know why they won't put Jimmy against Gunther? Because they're afraid the match would be too similar. They're afraid that the match that Jimmy and Gunther would have would be the same match that we would see at WrestleMania because they have the same moveset.
Well, they had a little confrontation tonight, and like you mentioned before earlier, Mr. Blood, we still got a lot of time before WrestleMania. Who's to say we don't see Jimmy?
It's possible we get it. It's possible. It's very possible we get it. But if you're asking me, I need to see Gunther going after people who aren't just fucking cannon fodder. I need to see Gunther put down someone who's actually more of a credible threat in a one-on-one match, man. Have him go up against Drew McIntyre or Damian Priest or someone that Jay has beaten. Have him beat someone Jay's beaten to prove that he can beat Jay if the vulnerability, if the hubris and the anxiety and the doubt of Gunther is the story you're trying to tell, that he's trying to prove that he can beat him even though he doesn't believe in himself anymore. Show me someone more than just a bunch of lower card acts.
No,
that still, by the way, got their offense in on.
No, I agree with you 100%. Like, when it comes to, like, Kira Tozawa and Otis and Axiom, like, I get why they put them versus Gunther, because Gunther beating them is kind of like, oh, Gunther's taking advantage of these
it's
guys.
Cruel. It's cruel. Yes.
Yeah, it's cruel. It's supposed to give him heat, but they almost beat him.
Exactly. So they can almost beat if they can almost beat him.
I'm like, Jesus
God forbid, if they can almost beat him, what hope does he have against Jay at Mania with 80,000 people behind him, all that adrenaline fired up to the fucking masses? It's literally a foregone conclusion then that Jay is walking out as your goddamn world heavyweight champion. One word, 4 letters. Yeet.
No yeet. Anyways, you guys, other than that, we had a Randy Orton versus Carmelo Hayes. Randy Orton won, and then we saw Kevin Owens show up, go after Randy Orton. We had a Miz TV segment that didn't really go as planned. Cody Rhodes was a special guest, but he attacked The Miz. We had no Miz TV, no interview, which I was actually looking forward to. And then we saw Damian Priest versus Shinsuke Nakamura, which ended in a disqualification because Drew McIntyre attacked Damian Priest. And then we had an in-ring promo by Paul Heyman. But other than that, that was Friday Night Smackdown, you guys. We'll see what happens at Monday Night Raw. Monday Night Raw is going to be airing at a special time. So we have to figure out our schedules, fellas, and see what we're going to do with that. But that was a SmackDown review. Thanks, everyone that was watching, listening, and commenting. Sorry I didn't get to your comments. They're still not working. I haven't figured that out yet, but we'll figure it out soon. Until next time, my name is Edgar. I'm the host of the Snug Wrestling Podcast. Thank you, Blood. Thank you, Tommy, BT, and